I'm Jerry Agar. Good to have you along. Now, a couple of times I've been in discussions on the morning show where we talked about whether or not the cut back to 25 councillors was a good idea for the city of Toronto. And then there were people who say, well, maybe it's a good idea, but it shouldn't have been done in the middle of coming toward the election. And I've said, well, why not? And one of the arguments given to me was, well, people have quit their jobs and now they don't know if they're going to be able to run in the new riding. And I thought, well, where are these people that quit their jobs? I don't see large numbers of people. And I started asking reporters who follow the specifics of these elections more than I do. And they said, well, we don't know of anybody. We don't know somebody that literally actually quit their job in order to run and then is going to need this council job in order to have an income. So finally, I just went on Twitter and I said, where are these people? Well, one of them showed up and his name is Ksiazek, and here he is. Good to see you.
Good morning, Jerry. How are you?
I'm well. Now, you didn't really actually quit a job, and by golly, if you don't win for council, you're in fiscal trouble.
No, I own my own company. I own several companies, and I didn't quit. But because I decided to run for council, I scaled back on what I was doing. I don't need the job as being a councillor. I don't. I have a well-paying job that pays quite a bit more than that. Yeah. But I want to actually come and do something for my community. So I have made this choice. It's taken a little bit of a toll on my business, but that's the price I'm willing to pay. All right.
So, but it's not just a price you're willing to pay. To be very clear here, it's a price you can pay.
It's a price I can pay, absolutely.
All right. So it's not a situation of, like people have tried to characterize it to me, that somebody out there felt so strongly they should run that they quit their job at the accounting firm, and if they don't win for city council, they'll have no income. Actually, you'd be an idiot to put yourself in that situation.
Oh, I would think so. If you are, I don't think you want to be that person on council. That's that
not a good decision maker.
Not a great decision maker.
What's your company?
I own a company called The Waterproofer. We do basement foundations, poured concrete, and waterproofing. I've had that for about 11 years. I also had a manufacturing firm. We manufactured picture frames. That's now moved to China. Okay. Like every other manufacturing. And we build custom homes.
Okay, so then why would you, Ksiazek, decide, here you are, a successful person, you got businesses that you run, you don't have to deal with a board of directors of 25 or 47 like you will if you get on city council. If all this goes forward and you got on city council, you got 25 other councillors to argue with, why would you want to do that?
I want to give back to the community. I currently work, I'm on the Don Mills Residents Association, and I've helped people in our neighborhood for the last number of years deal with the city. And I've helped them deal with the city because there is no real liaison in our neighborhood between the city and the residents. And so I've been doing that on an ad hoc basis through this association. And my wife finally said, "Why don't you just run?"
Oh, she wants you out of the house.
She wants me out of the house.
Yeah, okay. So, but isn't that liaison supposed to be the councillor?
It's supposed to be the councillor. Unfortunately, the ward that I'm running in has a councillor that's been there for 25 years, and I think has lost interest in what he's doing. Like anyone, after 25 years, I'd be bored with doing the same thing over and over and over.
You're making that accusation against Councillor Denzelman and Wong.
Well, it's not an accusation. It's a fact. He's been there a quarter century.
Yeah. Well, that's a fact. Whether he's lost interest or not, we don't know.
Whether he's lost interest, whether it's a fact or not, but he ran for the provincial PCs and didn't win. So he obviously doesn't have his heart in the neighborhood, and he really hasn't for years. And I've dealt with him over the years, and he's become less and less interested. So.
All right. So you decided to do this, and then along comes Doug Ford stomping around in the city with his big shoes and says, you're only going to have 25 councillors now. The border lines of the wards are going to be the same as the provincial and federal ridings. And did you say, oh my God, I'm sunk?
Well, no, I heard it that Thursday evening. I heard the rumors going around, and I started looking at it. And I looked at what the borders of the federal ridings were, and it didn't make that much of a change to my particular riding. Our riding, Don Valley East, doesn't shrink at all. It gains a little bit down in Flemington Park, but other than that, it doesn't change. I think a lot of the other councillors are going to have some problems. You've got some, you get Burnside in here, who's a great councillor, and Robinson. The problem is those two are now going to be fighting over one little piece of territory. That's right. And they're two very good councillors. Yep. They haven't been there that long. My concern is not with the councillors that have been there, for a term, 2 terms, 3 terms. It's the ones that have been rooted in there forever. All right. That's the change that needs to be made. Whether you have 47 of them or you have 25 of them, if it's the same old people that have been there forever, you're going to have the same problems. Some new blood has to get in, and some of these people that have been there forever have to go.
Stephen Ksiazek is here, and he responded to my question on Twitter, where are these people who supposedly quit their jobs in order to run for city council and then were upended with the decision to cut back to 25? Well, Stephen Ksiazek contacted me, and he's admitted that he didn't actually literally quit a job. He scaled back a little. He's a company owner. He can do what he likes, and he's in financial good shape. So, but it still kind of fit what I was looking for, so I'm happy that you're here. Do you think then, you've run a company, you know what it's like to keep the customer satisfied and keep some balls in the air. Do you think a councillor in this city can handle the larger wards?
Well, I don't think they're going to have a choice. We're going to do 25.
Can they, or are we making a mistake?
Can they? I don't know the workload that the councillors actually have at the 44 that they currently are. I think, you know, the amount that I know I work, I can get out there and see the people in the ward. There's two aspects. There's what the people in the ward need from the councillor, and then there's the being a councillor at City Hall, which I liken to being on the board of directors of a company and having a view from much higher up. But there's two very distinct aspects to being a councillor, and you can't do one without doing the other, or you're not effective.
All right. Do you have like a web page with what you plan to do, that sort of thing? Are you set up yet?
I set up. I'm a business owner. We set up the day we could set up. Everything was up and running.
All right. What is it?
It's www.CiazekWard32.ca. Now it is going to have to change because it's no longer Ward 32.
All right.
But that will change, but it'll all be directed. So
all right. No one is going to guess how to spell your last name,
no,
unless they have the same background as you. So what is it?
It's Ksiazek, but it's pronounced Ksiazek, a silent K on it.
All right. Well, it'll be interesting to watch this race. It'll be interesting to see how council looks at 25, and you've thrown yourself into the ring. So thanks for coming in here.
Well, thank you for having me. I appreciate it.